Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and on today's show, we are going to be reacting to ESPN's quarterback scenarios when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2025, and none of them include Russell Wilson or Justin Fields getting the job next season. So today, we're going to be talking about some outside quarterback options for the black and gold right here on Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. And listen, man, ESPN makes you guys pay $120 or more per year for ESPN Plus, which is where you guys could originally see this article. But today, we're going to give you guys this content 100% free here on Steelers Talk because we're nice guys. That's what we do. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we give you guys free premium Steelers content here on the YouTube platform. So if that's something that interests you this offseason, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now. And with that, let's get into the first scenario brought on by ESPN's Benjamin Solak, which is Sam Darnold to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Sam Darnold is somebody that I would actually be okay with if the Steelers decided to bring in. There's a bevy of different reasons for that. I understand he does have some red flags that go along with bringing him in. But let's see what Benjamin Solak from ESPN had to say about this potential fit. While I would usually dismiss the idea of Mike Tomlin signing a free agent quarterback to a significant contract, desperate times might elicit desperate measures. Once again, Pittsburgh is out of range to draft a franchise passer in April, having made the playoffs and precluded itself from a top 10 pick. Will the Steelers look to execute a big trade up in the draft class? I highly doubt it. What about hanging tight at number 21 and selecting someone the rest of the league passed on? Well, that didn't work out with Kenny Pickett the last time around. Pittsburgh has two free agent signal callers scheduled to leave the building, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, so Pittsburgh's participation in the Darnold market will be dictated by whether they have an open job. Now listen, man, I actually kind of like the idea of Sam Darnold in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, especially if they do decide to go with an outside option. I know a lot of people in Steelers Nation prefer either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, and even the Steelers owner, Art Rooney II, said that his preference is to bring back either Russ or Fields for 2025. But I think there are some benefits with bringing in Sam Darnold, and probably the biggest reason is he's a great fit for Arthur Smith's system here in Pittsburgh. It's a lot of play action, or at least that's what Pittsburgh wants to do with Arthur Smith calling the plays. They want to be a run-first team, all this different stuff. And I like that the age is only 27 years old. You're not getting a complete retread here. You're getting somebody that has a very recent career renaissance with the Minnesota Vikings. And speaking of the Minnesota Vikings, guys, they implemented the Cognize VR technology this last offseason to help out with their quarterback's development. And you look at the numbers for Sam Darnold from his previous career stats versus what it was in Minnesota this year, and he completely transformed his career using this technology. His career completion percentage versus 2024, 5 points higher. That is a huge jump, almost a yard more per attempt, so way more efficient. The touchdown percentage went up quite a bit as well, over 2 points. The interception percentage still maybe a little bit too high, but I expect that number to continue to go down the more he uses this technology. And the quarterback rating was a lot higher as well. I mean, heck, before the last two games of the season, people were talking about Sam Darnold as a potential league MVP candidate. And because of that, Pro Football Focus projects his next contract at 3 years, $41.25 million per season. All right, so that is quite a bit of money, and I understand why a lot of Steelers fans are hesitant to give a quarterback that kind of money, especially somebody that's just had one good season, and then in the final two games of his season last year with the Minnesota Vikings, he did not play well at all against the Detroit Lions in the season finale, and then also against the Los Angeles Rams in the wild card round of the playoffs. But I think he fits the system. I think he has the arm talent to play in the AFC North. And hey, if he's coming in here and he's bringing the Cognize VR technology for the long haul here, I think that's something that's going to benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers, not just in the short term, but also in the long term. So it's time to go back to school here, guys. Give me a grade. How would you grade the signing of Sam Darnold if the Steelers were to make this signing? Let me know down there in the comments section. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at PrizePicks. And while I'm talking about PrizePicks, go down there and give me a grade for a potential Sam Darnold signing. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks, which is the best place to get real money sports action this football season. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more than or less than on at least two players' stat projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly, and you play just $5. You don't even need to win the projection to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where every Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts like player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. And for the big game this weekend, guys, you guys know what game I'm talking about here. I'm talking about Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles to decide the champion of professional football. This week, you get a free pick for one of the quarterbacks here when it comes to passing yards. So you guys can pick, for example, Patrick Mahomes passing yards, just 0.5. So as long as he doesn't get injured on the first play of the game, you pretty much get that one. And then if you just pick another one, say A.J. Brown anytime touchdown, you get that one right, and you can make some money with our friends at PrizePicks during the big game. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup when you download the PrizePicks app today. PrizePicks, run your game. So now let's get into some of the other quarterback scenarios that Benjamin Solak from ESPN put in front of Steelers fans in this most recent article. And he says that if Sam Darnold goes to Las Vegas, then his prediction is that Kirk Cousins would be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what Ben had to say about this potential fit between Captain Kirk and the Steelers. Don't sleep on the Steelers as a good landing spot for Cousins, who can follow the Arthur Smith, Ryan Tannehill plan of never ever leaving the pocket. Cousins would be better than Wilson, I think, and good for receiver George Pickens, who is a much better middle-of-the-field receiver than most people think. Listen, man, I think that Kirk Cousins with the Pittsburgh Steelers would be a nightmare. I think it would be terrible to have noodle arm Kirk in the AFC North, in the wind, in the cold, in the conditions, late in the season with the season on the line. I mean, he played in very comfortable Atlanta this year, and towards the end of his tenure there with the Falcons, before he got benched for Michael Penix Jr., a rookie, by the way, he was throwing turnover-worthy plays left and right because he would throw passes into windows that he used to be able to make when he was a younger man and had a stronger arm, but because he's got a noodle arm now, he was throwing a bunch of interceptions and a bunch of turnover-worthy plays, and that's only going to get cranked up to 11 if he's playing in the conditions of the AFC North, where not only do the Steelers play in an outdoor stadium in a cold weather state, but every team they play in the division has the same conditions as well. So this is not something that I think is a good idea for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Solak can take that one and shove it up where the sun don't shine, because it's not happening, in my opinion. Then we get to the second other scenario that he brings up here, and that's if Sam Darnold goes back to the Minnesota Vikings, which probably isn't going to happen, by the way. But he says if that happens, Pittsburgh would then trade for Saints quarterback Derek Carr. This is what Ben had to say about this particular fit. I could see the trade market getting hot for a player like Carr, the next best option for 2 to 3 years of acceptable play. The Steelers coach Mike Tomlin need that plug-and-play fix at quarterback to finally find some postseason wins before seats start to get too hot. Now, my thoughts on Derek Carr, guys, is that I think you could probably do worse than him at quarterback next year, but you could certainly do better as well, especially when you consider the fact that his record in cold weather football games is atrocious. You'll remember he got benched from the Las Vegas Raiders and eventually cut because of how poorly he played in the Christmas Eve game against the Steelers in frigid conditions. So I'm looking at Derek Carr as somebody that would probably be pretty decent to start the season when the weather was good, all this different stuff. But then when AFC North football really came to town in the later months of the years, you'd probably crumble, and that would probably lead to another first-round exit in the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So what's the best external option for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the quarterback position? Type SD for Sam Darnold, DC for Derek Carr, KC for Kirk Cousins, or O for other. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. For me, the best option of these three is Sam Darnold. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button for extensive coverage here on the Pittsburgh Steelers all throughout Super Bowl week here in New Orleans, Louisiana.